Sherwood, and I'm really excited to talk with you about the transition into the new Limbic Arc sales compensation plan. I work with Dan Jensen Consulting, and for more than 20 years, my firm has specialized in compensation plans. Our clients are of all sizes. We have a lot of new startup companies that we work with, and we have a lot of plan change projects that we get involved in too, similar to what we've done with Limbic Arc. Some of our companies are doing more than $1 billion in annual revenue, and again, some are just getting started, just getting off the floor. Of the top 100 direct selling companies globally, more than 30 are clients of ours. We have won the DSA Partnership Award, which is a really coveted award, and we are also frequent speakers at industry events. I share this with you so you know that we're not just somebody that's come in with a great idea, that this is something that we specialize in. This is all we do, compensation plans. And we've been working with Limbic Arc now for more than 2 years. I met George and Scott at an industry event where I was speaking and ended up having an opportunity to speak with them afterwards. And that really kickstarted our relationship, and we started this process by going through an evaluation of the existing plan, looking for strengths and weaknesses and opportunities for improvement. Through that process, we also identified some key objectives that we would want to accomplish in a new plan. So with that foundation, we were able to propose changes, and then together as a team, we refined those ultimately to get to a point where we felt really good about the new compensation plan. Through that process, we also determined that in order for us to model the new compensation plan on historical data to evaluate the impact that it would have on individuals as well as overall, Limbic Arc needed a different back office. So some of the last 2 years has been spent doing that and changing software providers and getting that back office up and running so that we did have an environment that we could model the new plan. We would never want to just introduce a new plan without actually evaluating what is the impact of those results. So that modeling process is what we've been working on for quite some time now. We've taken more than 20 weeks of historical data and have applied the new compensation plan to that, and then evaluated on an individual basis, even person by person, what is the impact of the new plan compared to the old plan. And I will tell you that there are some people that earn more, there are some people that earn less, and most people are either not impacted at all or are minimally impacted. So we have kind of an earn same category that we use as we look at the results, and that earn same category is basically someone who is within $10 plus or minus of their old plan earnings. So most people by far fall into that category. But what I love about the new plan is the opportunity for everyone to increase and go even beyond where you're at today. Let me talk for a moment about why we're changing the sales compensation plan. There are two perspectives that we always want to take into consideration when doing a change. One is obviously the company, and then the second, obviously, would be the affiliate. So as we look at the changes and why we need to change from a company perspective, there are a couple points that are important. One is that future modeling of the current plan shows that it is not sustainable. So a change is necessary in order for Limbic Arc to continue to be in business in the long term. So obviously that was of great concern, because not only does that impact the company, but it impacts you. And we really want to make sure that we are also protecting you. So that was one big aspect of why we need to change the plan from the company perspective. Another point is the current plan isn't really driving all of the behaviors that we need for long-term success. So if we want to go from where we're at to, 5 times, 10 times larger, even more than that, larger than where we're at today, we need to change some of the behaviors that we are rewarding in the compensation plan. We also needed to have a stronger foundation in legal compliance, and that's in really all markets. Different markets have different rules, and so one of the key objectives of the new plan was to make sure that we were legally compliant in all markets. From the affiliate perspective, we wanted to make sure that there was an equal opportunity for people to be recognized and rewarded based on their efforts, not because they got in at a particular time or they got into a particular spot, but really everyone should have an opportunity to succeed based on what they're doing. And so you'll find that the career path is really designed to do exactly that, is to recognize and reward the right behaviors at the right time. With that, we also want to make sure that we were able to increase retention, particularly for new affiliates and early builders. If we can't keep people, it's really hard to grow. And so we wanted to provide earnings opportunities and recognition and such that will keep new affiliates engaged in the business. We also, in the existing plan, have a minimal opportunity for people who really just want to sell our products. There are people who don't want to build a team, they just want to share something that they love. And that's not really something that they can do under the current compensation plan. And so in the new compensation plan, that was one of the key objectives that we wanted to ensure that we included, is a place really for everybody. If you just want to sell in the new compensation plan, great, there's a place for you. If you want to share products and build a team, great, there's a place for you. So that was really critical that we ensured that we can welcome everybody in our doors. We also really wanted to create a plan that was attractive to experienced leaders, which also means that we need to make sure that our rules are abiding by best practices that we find in the industry. And finally, we want to make sure that the new compensation plan accommodates market differences. There are legal differences, there are cultural differences, there's different things that we have to consider in all the different markets that we go into. And so we wanted to make sure that we had a plan that was going to work wherever we expanded. At a high level perspective, let's just talk about what is changing. The career path will now be based on the enrollment genealogy. That has shown over and over and over again in our experience and in industry history that is really the best approach to a successful compensation plan. And so we have completely redesigned the career path, and all of those elements are based on the enrollment genealogy. We do still have a binary aspect of our plan, but that is not part of the career path. We have improved rewards for selling, team building, and leadership, and we're going to now differentiate between customers and affiliates. That's not something that we've really done in the past, but moving forward for legal compliance and for accommodating market differences and such, that's really important that there is a clear delineation between who is really a customer and who is really an affiliate. And with that, we will have an affiliate enrollment and annual fee, and that's part of that process that helps us to differentiate between customers and affiliates. What is not changing is our payout target of 50%. That was one of our directives. It was really important that we continue to pay out that 50%, as well as all bonuses being paid weekly. That was another thing. In some of the original versions of the compensation plan, we were going to do some things weekly, some things monthly, and ultimately through that process, the Limbic Arc team decided, no, we really do need to pay everything weekly. So all bonuses will continue to pay weekly. We will continue to have both the enrollment and binary structures. The structures that are in place will not change. As you enroll new affiliates, you'll continue to add them to one of your binary legs, and they'll obviously also go into the enrollment genealogy. We will also have career titles for recognition. You call that sometimes highest title achieved. We'll be calling that career title. It's the same thing though. So we will still have that for recognition, as well as a paid as title for determining how you get paid each week. Having different enrollment options helps us to make that delineation between affiliates and customers. So a couple of things on this that I want to mention. One is that affiliates and customers will continue to pay the same price. That does not change. So you don't have to worry about, now a customer is going to have to pay something higher than what you do. No, everybody continues to pay the same price. The difference really is in the enrollment fee. So if someone wants to join to build a business, they will pay an enrollment fee, and then they will pay an annual fee. And that helps us to cover the cost of our back office. We have tried to really provide some great tools and technology to allow you to run your business, but that does cost money. And so that enrollment fee and annual fee helps to cover that cost. If someone wants to join as a customer, they can do so without any kind of enrollment fee or annual fee, but they're not participating in the compensation plan. So if you have someone that wants to just use the products, they would be a great customer. If you have someone that wants to earn money, they would be a great affiliate. And that's really the difference there. So customer does not pay an enrollment fee or an annual fee, but they don't participate in the compensation plan, and they don't hold a separate position in the enrollment or binary genealogies. So they're kind of just attached to you, not holding a separate position. Existing affiliates will not have to pay that enrollment fee. Obviously, you've already enrolled, so we're not going to go back and collect that. But the annual fee will begin in 2024. So once your anniversary of enrollment pops up in the year 2024, then you will be paying that annual fee. I will note that as we've done historically, affiliates will need to continue to have their own personal subscription in order to qualify any of the titles or for bonuses, with the exception of those that reside in the USA. And that's because of legal compliance that we have that exception there. One of the challenges with changing to a new compensation plan is always learning how does the plan work, of course, but also how do I talk about it? How do I share it with other people? For existing affiliates, you probably have a rhythm. You know what to say about the current plan. If you don't, that's okay too, because don't worry about it. Now you have something new to learn. But I want to share the summary explanation with you because this is something that you can share about the new compensation plan without having to fully understand the new plan and without having to have the whole plan memorized. Obviously, we don't expect that. The summary explanation really is just a simple opportunity message that you can share with potential affiliates. The summary explanation is not intended to provide all the details. It's really intended to just be a high-level overview and give enough information that could lead to a couple of different outcomes. One might be, someone saying, wow, that sounds really great. I'd like to join your team. Second one might be, yeah, I'm not interested in that right now, but I am interested in your products and I'd like to be a customer. And a third outcome may be, that sounds interesting, but can you tell me more about what you mean about XYZ or whatever? They have some questions. They want some more information before they make a decision one way or the other. And the great thing about that is that buys you an opportunity to prepare. So you can say, yeah, I'd love to answer those questions. I don't have my information with me right now. Let's meet up tomorrow and we can go through that. And then you've just bought yourself some time to go back, study, listen to training videos, connect with your upline, whatever. but to prepare for that. And so you don't have to feel like you know the whole plan before you actually start talking about it. So that's the point of the summary explanation. There are 3 points that I like to cover in a summary explanation. That's what do you earn by sharing our products, building a team, and leadership. So I'm going to share this summary explanation with you. And as you can see, it's a really simple message. And I encourage you to practice it out loud, practice it with your partner, with your kids, with your dog, your cat, in the mirror, whatever, but practice it a couple times and then connect with someone else in your team or connect with your sponsor and practice it with them. The more you say it out loud, the more comfortable you will be with sharing it. And as you enroll new affiliates, encourage them to do the same. Because again, if they don't know what to say, they're probably not going to say anything at all. So here's what that summary explanation might sound like. There are 3 ways to earn money as an affiliate. The first is by sharing our products. When you enroll a new Limbic Arc subscriber, you can earn up to $50 on their first month subscription and up to 20% on their monthly subscriptions thereafter. The second way to earn money is by building a team. As you enroll affiliates that also want to share our products and make money, you can earn up to 20% on their subscriptions and up to 16% on the subscriptions from others on your team. And the third way to make money is by being a leader. So as you work with key affiliates on your team and help them to be successful, then you can earn a bonus for working with them. You can also participate in our Leader Infinity Pool, which shares in the success of the entire company, not just your own downline. So as you see, that's a really simple high-level overview. I'm not talking about levels or generations or binary. I'm not naming things specifically, which ultimately just overwhelms somebody. I'm just giving a high-level overview of, hey, you can earn 20% on subscribers that you enroll and up to $50 on their first subscription. You can earn up to 20% on the affiliates you enroll on their subscriptions and up to 16% on the subscriptions from other people on your team. And when you become a leader and work with others, then you can earn a bonus on the earnings of those people that you are working with in your downline. I'm going to turn now to the career path. I'm not going to go through each of these definitions, what all these different pieces of the career path mean in this training. We're going to cover that in other trainings, but I want to point out a couple of things about what we've done with the career path. First thing that I want to point out is that we've created small steps in between different titles that allow people to advance really quickly within the career path. That is especially important for people in those first group of titles, like the active affiliate through affiliate 3 title. When you have a new affiliate enroll, encourage them to focus on that affiliate 3 title and work towards that, particularly within their first 16 weeks. We have a bonus that rewards them for doing that. I'm not going to go through that today, but that's why I mentioned get those new affiliates to that affiliate 3 title within their first 16 weeks so they can take advantage of that fast start bonus. But those steps on that way allow us to recognize them at each of those titles, and it allows them to earn more at each of those titles. But it also creates a momentum of success. When someone sees that they are being successful and repeatedly, they're much more likely to continue to do that. So we wanted to make sure that this new career path allowed for that quick advancement, particularly in the early stages of the career path, and really make that a smooth progression for people. Another aspect of the career path is the simplicity. I know there are a lot of numbers on it, so it doesn't always look simple, but the reality is it is. If you look at the active affiliate through Manager 3 titles, those titles are really based on 2 primary metrics: personally enrolled volume and downline volume. That maximum volume rule that you see, that applies to the downline volume. So it's not really a third requirement, it's just something that applies to that downline volume, that second requirement. So we wanted to make something that was simple to teach. And one of the things for you to understand too is that simplicity is also achieved in how you teach it. So if I'm teaching a compensation plan to someone, I'm not usually teaching the whole career path. I'm focused on small parts. So with a new affiliate, I would focus on getting them to that affiliate 3 title. With affiliate 3s and with manager 1s and 2s, I'd focus on getting them to that manager 3 title. So break that into small pieces, and you can see that we've named the titles into groups really for that exact reason, to identify what is a good group for you to focus teaching, as well as the different behaviors that go with those specific groups. The last point that I want to make on the career path right now is that we're also using structure requirements that are based on volume. So that is a trend that we see in the industry, that a lot of companies are converting to that. New startup plans are using that compared to traditional plans, which often will include some kind of title-based structure requirements. For example, you might see a compensation plan that would require like a manager 3 to have at least 3 affiliate 3 legs. So have 3 separate legs that each have someone paid as an affiliate 3 in them. There's actually a lot of value in that. It's not a bad thing, but one of the challenges with that is it can create a domino effect. If you've got one of those affiliate 3s that for some reason just barely missed their title, you may have not just one upline miss their title, but you may have multiple upline in missing their titles, all because this one person missed something. And so that creates a lot of stress, I know, at the end of the month or at the end of the week, really, as you're looking at requirements. But it can create that domino effect. And so using these volume-based structure requirements removes some of that stress. It makes it easier to achieve and easier to maintain because you're not reliant upon one particular person having all of their requirements in a row. As part of the transition process into the new plan, we have to take your highest title achieved under the old plan and convert it to a new plan equivalent. So in this table, you can see the old plan titles and the new plan titles that you will have. So if your old plan highest paid or highest achieved title was bronze, then your new career title, which is the same thing as the highest achieved title, the new career title would be manager 3. So we're going to convert your old highest title achieved to your new career title. And that really is just for recognition purposes. You can advance in rank. So if you advance the very first week we launched the new comp plan, good job, that's awesome. But you'll see your career title will increase. So it's just a starting point. We want to make sure that we recognize you for what you've done in the past, which is why we're not just starting you over on your career title, but you will still be paid based on your paid as title. Having gone through this process a lot, we know that it's not really fair to expect you to adhere to all of the new career path requirements when you've built based on the old plan. So what we're doing is we're actually creating a transition plan for the career path where we will gradually increase some of those requirements or gradually strengthen some of those requirements to basically ease you into the full career path requirements. That process will happen over the course of a year, and we break that year up into 4 quarters, 13 weeks each quarter, and we will gradually walk in some of those requirements. So I'm going to walk you through each of those segments so you can see what is changing at each of those different quarters. In weeks 1 through 13, your personally enrolled volume is reduced for affiliate 3 and higher. Beginning in week 14, your personally enrolled volume will be at the full strength, but for those first 13 weeks, we've reduced that. So the highest personally enrolled volume required is 190 during those first 13 weeks. Many of you already fulfill the person enrolled volume requirement. So for many of you, it's not a challenge, but we want to be sure that we do give people an opportunity if that's not something that they have right now. Downline volume is not reduced, but what is reduced is the maximum volume rule that applies to that. So in the full career path, the maximum volume rule is about 65% of your downline volume. In these first 13 weeks, that maximum volume rule is set to 80%. So you will be able to count 80% of your downline volume from your strongest leg during these first 13 weeks. Now, if you don't have 80% of your downline volume in your strongest leg, good job. That's great. That's not an issue for you then. But for some people, that is an issue. And so we want to make sure that we give you an opportunity to build volume outside of your strongest leg and really outside of your two strongest legs for outside volume, which I'll talk about in a moment. But we're going to ease you into that maximum volume rule over the course of these first 2 quarters. So it's about 6 months that we're easing you into that full requirement. The outside volume in weeks 1 through 13 is completely waived. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't worry about it until the end. You should be working on the outside volume, particularly if you're looking at qualifying as a Director 1 and higher. And then the last requirement, leader points, is waived really for the first year. So weeks 1 through 13, there are no leader points required. Weeks 14 through 26, so the second quarter now, your person enrolled volume is a full requirement for the career path. The maximum volume rule is not yet at the full requirement, but it is a little bit closer. So in the first 13 weeks, it was 80% you could count from your strongest leg. In this next group, so weeks 14 through 26, you can count up to 70% of your downline volume from your strongest leg. The outside volume begins in week 14. It is a reduced amount, but we're starting that requirement there in week 14. So again, make sure that you're working on that through weeks 1 through 13 as well. And then, as I mentioned before, leader points are waived for the entire first year. In weeks 27 through 39, the maximum volume rule is now at its normal, full effect. The outside volume for Director 1 through 3 is at its full effect, but for Leader 1 and higher, the outside volume rule is still reduced. And then leader points, of course, are waived. In weeks 40 through 52, outside volume is at its full strength for everyone now. So the last part of this transition into the new plan are the leader points. So in weeks 40 through 52, the leader points continue to be waived. Beginning in week 53, or you could say on week 1 of year 2, leader points at that point will be required. The next aspect of the transition into the new plan is a subsidy. So in addition to relaxing the career path rules, we're providing a subsidy to those who are paid as a bronze or higher at least once under the old plan rules during January 21st through March 17th. And that time period is what we have established as kind of a baseline. So what we're going to do is during that time period, we will identify what your average earnings are, and that becomes a baseline for comparison with your new plan earnings. This subsidy is basically broken into 3 groups based on your paid as title under the new plan. During weeks 1 through 13, if you are eligible for the subsidy and you are paid as a Manager 1 through Manager 3 under the new plan, then we will make sure that you're not losing more than 20% of your baseline average. So just as an easy example, if your baseline average was $100 and under the new plan, in the week you earned $70, then we would pay you a $10 subsidy to offset that difference. If you are paid as a Director 1 through Director 3 during that time period, then we will make sure that you are not losing more than 10% of your baseline average. So in the same example, if your baseline average is $100 and your weekly earnings were $70, then we would pay you a $20 subsidy. And finally, if you are paid as a leader 1 or higher, then we'll make sure that you're not paid less than your baseline average. So again, in this example, if you earned $100 in your baseline average and your new plan earnings were $70, we would pay you a $30 subsidy. We also have a subsidy available for people who are paid as a Ruby or higher at least twice during that baseline period of January 21st through March 17th. So for those individuals, if they're paid as less than a Director 1, then the other subsidy rules that I just covered would apply. But if this group is paid as a Director 1 or higher during this time period, then we will make sure that they're not earning less than their baseline average. And let me note too that this subsidy is based on your weekly earnings. So we'll evaluate your weekly earnings and apply that. So you may go up and down. You may be paid as a manager 3 one week, you may be paid as a leader 1 or a director 1 another week. So you may fluctuate between those different groups of the subsidy, and that's okay. As long as you are eligible for the subsidy, then we'll be evaluating your earnings every week and determining if there is a subsidy that you should earn. For those that were paid as a Ruby or higher at least twice during that baseline period, then there is a subsidy that also extends into weeks 14 through 26. So I'm not really going to go into that more right now, but I just want to note that for that group, there is an extension on that subsidy. Let me talk about the transition rules for binary volume now. The industry best practice for binary volume is that when you are paid on volume in your week leg, which we'll now be calling your pay leg. So again, week leg equals pay leg under the new plan. So when you're paid on volume in your pay leg, then that volume and an equal amount of volume is removed from your strong leg, and any remaining volume is carried forward. And of course, there's always different carryover volume rules and such based on different plans. But that's the industry standard, is that volume that you are paid on is removed from both your pay leg and your strong leg. Limbic arc is very unusual, not having done that in the current plan where the volume just continues to accumulate. But unfortunately, that is a liability or a risk to the company. And I've never seen anybody else do that way. And so this is one of the things that we're going to be doing in our transition is converting some of our rules on how we handle that binary volume. So when we launch the new plan, we will be removing the volume that you've already been paid on in your pay leg and your strong leg. While in the current plan it's been accumulating, the software has been tracking it. So we know how much volume you've been paid on in each leg, and that volume will be removed from those legs. So you'll see that volume, your binary volume, drop in those, and I don't want you to be surprised or alarmed by that. That's volume you've already been paid on. And so we're just starting fresh with the volume that you haven't been paid on yet, and then you can move forward and continue to accumulate volume based on the new rules. In closing, let me just talk real quick about steps that you can do to work the new plan. How do you maximize the new plan? Well, there are really 4 steps that you can do. First is lead by example. Continue to share our products and enroll new customers and affiliates. We have heard repeatedly from companies around the world that when leaders stop doing those things, their teams do also. So continue to lead by example is critical. Second, find your rising stars. Look for those people that are doing something, but even better, look for people that are doing more than average. They are your rising stars. Those people that want to make money and make a business out of this. Look for those individuals, those rising stars. And then number 3, help them to advance to the next title. If everyone is focusing only on the minimum requirements for their title, nobody is growing. So that also brings me to the 4th point here of overbuild. do more than just the minimum. So look for those rising stars, help them to advance, and the only way you can advance is by doing more than the minimum. So overbuild, do more than just that minimum amount so you can continue to move forward. Thank you so much for letting me share this information with you. If you have questions or would like to schedule a training call, please contact our customer success team. They're fantastic, and you can reach them at success@limbicarc.com.